Today we have a Miller Welder Maxstar 210. Our customer is having power on issues and needs this unit back quickly. With our fast 3 to 5 day turnaround, we will get the repair completed with time to spare. We will now go ahead and open up the unit. And peel back the insulation covering. Here is our main board. Our power comes in through the cord to the power switch, which also acts as a breaker and comes through here and goes to the main board. Here it will then go through a bridge, as you can see. All of these caps which are here, which make up your bus line. If we look here, this is our control circuit for operations. And we also have a display circuit here. This particular unit allows for software upgrades, which is what this board does. Here. And you can see where a card would be inserted here, as we noted earlier. This is the control circuit which runs operations. This is another circuit that is related to operations. With relays, we also have transformers, which are here. You'll notice the exhaust fan, which pulls air in here, exits out the back. Here the interior of this unit has some dust and dirt, but we are going to start our work to successfully repair it. So now it is time to have the unit cleaned up before we start the diagnosis and repair process. You will notice that our unit's interior has now been cleaned, and we are now ready to start the diagnosis process. As we noted earlier, power comes in here and the bus caps are here. This connector here takes the tap off the bus and runs it here, which Miller calls a flyback supply, which is a standard issue chopper supply. It takes the bus amp, converts it into a low voltage, which feeds the control circuitry here on these other boards. We will now test the power supply and turn the power on. First, we need to verify that power is reaching the unit. We have 3 lines for the 3 phases. Measuring across 2 lines shows 100 volts, which isn't correct. We're not using 3-phase power, we're using single phase, and our input voltage should be 240 volts. Checking the input line, we see 212 volts. However, measuring across the other 2 lines still shows 100 volts. This is expected. When you connect 2 lines of a 3-phase system, you'll often see some voltage present. The important thing is that we have confirmed power is reaching 2 of the input lines. Next, the voltage travels to the bridge and then to the bus cap. Checking the bus caps, we confirm the presence of voltage. The entire bus must pass through this connector to power the sub-power supply, which outputs a lower voltage. Measuring across the connectors, we read 147 volts and 295 volts. 295 volts should be sufficient to activate the sub-power supply. However, the unit is not starting. So at this point, the next step is to identify the part number of this board and check our inventory to see if we have a replacement available. Upon checking, we found that the necessary part is in stock, as at all of our state-of-the-art facilities we maintain a comprehensive inventory of repair parts for over 3,000 OEMs. This is the chopper supply transformer. This is where the bus power enters. Here's the output, driven by the MOSFET. Like any other power supply, AC comes in, needs to be rectified and regulated. Then you have the low voltage outputs for the rest of the circuitry, like 5 volts, 12 volts, and 24 volts. Now, these connectors have tabs that secure them. We will press down on this tab to unlock it. There are 2 clips which hold it in place with some pretty strong plastic. And another strip down here, very difficult to see. But there's a groove. Press firmly, and it's removable. Then, insert the new one and release the pressure to remove it. We will now ensure the unit is discharged. We do not want to connect it without ensuring it's discharged, as this could cause an arc and damage the unit. We will use a 20-volt lamp to discharge the unit. As you can see, the lamp flickered briefly, confirming the unit is fully discharged. Now we'll secure the connectors, turn on the breaker, and power up the unit. We observe green lights on the board. The fan starts running, and the display shows OCD normal. However, an error message immediately appears, software not valid. This suggests the customer may have attempted to repair the unit themselves. They likely ordered a replacement board and installed it. However, the unit fails to start, similar to what we're experiencing now. This is likely because the original power supply failed. As mentioned earlier, this section controls the unit's operations. It recognizes that the software on the newly installed board is incompatible with the existing software. Therefore, we'll need to update the software. The customer has provided us with the correct software, and we are ready to install. The machine now turns off, and the indicator light begins flashing. This indicates communication with the card, and the software update process is underway. The flashing eventually stops, and the display comes on. The update is complete. We remove the card from the drive, and the unit appears to be operating normally. As a final check, we power down the unit and then power it back on. The display shows the expected model number and voltage readings, confirming normal operation. We're now ready to conduct a stick weld test. And now we'll conduct our test. It's a pass. We have successfully completed the repair. Now we'll reassemble the unit, clean the exterior, and prepare it for shipment to the customer. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel for more technical videos.